Hey, stars, it's me, Shorter Star, and I'm back. Listen, as usual, I'm drinking me some tea, some lemon ginger tea. I will be drinking some other teas. I know you're tired of hearing about that, but I've been stuck on this tea since the pandemic, honestly. But anyway, I remember telling you guys on yesterday that there was a chance that New Jersey Transit, the engineers, were going to strike, right? Because I remember telling you that they came to the table, um, and New Jersey Transit stated that the engineers are now making $130,000, right? And that the engineers now want their salary to be bumped up to $170,000. And I'm like, wow. Again, the trains are on a track. Okay, keep that in mind. So again, but then the workers, the engineers, decided not to even play ball with with the New Jersey Transit at the moment because they said that the numbers were inflated. That they do not make $130,000; they make $113,000. Now, possibly with overtime, it may can bump up to 130, but their salary is 113. And yes, they do want it to go to 170. And apparently, New Jersey Transit built some new building for its executives or something, allegedly. And the workers feel like, listen, you got this much money to throw around building buildings for executives. You can raise our salary. So at the moment, they are now on strike. Now, like I said again in my past video, I was unaware that over 350,000 people use New Jersey Transit on a daily basis. And I used to be one of them, but 350,000? That's crazy. Okay, so they definitely making the money. Okay. So again, New Jersey Transit is on strike, crippling mass transit. Here's what you need to know. Well, I would say for workers and people that use New Jersey Transit, if it had to happen, it happened on a Friday morning. Okay. So some people might have just called out or work from most people work from home on Fridays. So the real challenge will be if this lasts over the weekend, starting the work week off on Monday. Now, again, Mondays and Fridays are allegedly days that a lot of people work from home and they work in the office on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, right? So maybe if Monday it's not cleared up by Monday, definitely Tuesday, it's going to be a madhouse. Trust when I tell you, okay? Because it's a madhouse when it's not a strike, okay? So I just wanted to let you know the strike is on, and hopefully they can come to some type of agreement. 113 to 170. Yeah. The train is on the track. I mean, anywho, we're going to move on. Now, I'm sure a lot of us are aware of Terrence Howard, right? Terrence Howard, the actor. Well, he has a daughter named Heaven Howard, and she's also an actress. And she announced earlier this week. Let me show you what she looks like because I didn't even know he had a daughter that was an actress also. So, okay. Um, this is Heaven Howard, Terrence Howard's daughter, and she reveals earlier this week that she was molested by her cousin. Okay. And I'm starting to notice that we're starting to hear this more and more. And like I said, things have happened to people, to many of us, and we tend to hide it, not want to talk about it. But now that there's so many things going on in the world, such as this Diddy trial, this Puffy trial, it's very triggering to a lot of people. And we're going to get back to this. So Terrence Howard's daughter, again, Heaven, reveals that she was molested by her cousin. And that's, it's not something we haven't heard of, but it's becoming more and more, So early this week, Heaven Howard, Terrence Howard's third child, reveals on Instagram that she was molested by her cousin at the age of 7. Okay. Um, I don't know what triggered her, but well, I do know what triggered her. I'm sorry, because she, like I said, she's an actress and she has a new short film called Princess Love. And if I'm not mistaken, allegedly the storyline, which she's starring in Princess Love, is a new short film. She states that it deals with, you know, essaying and things of the sort. And I guess that it brought some memories up to her. Well, she states that she doesn't hate her cousin, and she realized that he was SA'd at 2 years old when he was a baby, and when he turned 12, he SA'd her. Hurt people, you know. Um, I don't know, but I'm just stating that, you're hearing more and more of this, and like I said, so many things are going on where where um it's triggering, y'all. Some of these things you're hearing, people that you looked up to, maybe, or you've seen, or you've dealt with, or you enjoy their music, and to come to find out that these are the things that they were into and were into for years. You know what I mean? Nevertheless, I'm going to say that Heaven continued and expressed that she was so thankful for Chris Dabney, the writer director behind Princess Love, and his portrayal of generational abuse. Um, So the role she played it has to do with generational abuse, and it brought up some memories for her, and she decided to come clean. It was something that she said she hadn't talked about. I don't know if her father knew about it or not, but she definitely put it out there that she was abused at the age of 7 by a cousin. Okay, so I used to talk about Walmart pretty often, right? Well, Walmart, they're now. I haven't been to Walmart in so long. I can't even tell you. You know what I mean? But the truth about it is, Walmart now is announcing that at some point this month of May, Walmart says it will raise prices due to higher costs from tariffs. Now we're starting to hear this again, tariffs. And I just still don't understand how so many people got tariffs wrong. It's so self-explanatory. He's going to put tariffs on a country, meaning Mr. Trump, President Trump. He's going to put tariffs on a country that we depend on for goods. So he's making them pay more. Who do you think that they're going to push that price on? Us, the consumers. So how did you get it wrong? So now Walmart is stating that now they're this month, not maybe, not coulda, shoulda, woulda, they are raising their prices because of the high costs from tariffs. Okay? Remember, they're the ones that rolled back DEI and all these things, so they were in agreement with Mr. Trump, and now they're now have to raise their prices and push the cost off to us, as I stated, because of the tariffs. So again, I said in the video last week how tariffs will affect you. This is how it's going to affect you. And remember, this hasn't been going on for 6 months. We're in our third month, fourth. Listen, we got over 3 years, 3.5 years to go with this situation, and is what I'll call it, situation, right? Well, while I was searching for some stories yesterday, right, I came across a news article, and then I saw a video of a MTA worker in New York City. Okay, this is what he was doing. Now, in New York City, I'm from New York City, born and bred, so I remember we used to have tokens, right? Then the tokens changed to Metro cards, right? Then they did away with the whole token booth thing where there was always someone in it, either to give you change, directions, whatever it is. Now everything is automated. So now you don't need that. You go to a machine and get your Metro card by using your credit card, debit card, or cash, right? So which means the MTA employees don't deal with cash at all. There's no need. Well, this MTA worker, and they decided whatever station that they work at, what they were doing was taking customers' money instead of you giving you a Metro card, whatever the fee. I'm not even sure what the fee is in New York, to be honest with you, at this point. But just say it's $3.50, $4. Say it's $4. Let's say $4 allegedly around the clock, right? Instead of them going to get a Metro card, they'll give him $3, or maybe the $4, and he'll hit the button where he controls either one of the turnstiles, because that's what he's there for whatever reason, for help, directions, whatever. And he also, I saw him in a video, use two ways. He either pushed the button for that turnstile to move, he's in control of that turnstile, or he swiped the card. So I don't know if that's a personal card that MTA workers get, because I'm sure because of their ID and everything else, I'm sure they travel through the system for free, like any other place, right? That I know of, allegedly. So this man was taking money and letting them through. And I don't know how long he's been doing this. But apparently the MTA inspectors became aware of it. And of course, because there's cameras in every station, and especially at the turnstiles, they want to see who's jumping the turnstiles or who's evading. So he's doing it there, just like letting them through the turnstiles, swiping a card, and he's collecting money. How long he's been doing this, I don't know. How much money he's made from this, I don't know. But when MTA inspectors approached him, get into this. The employee filed for retirement the day after he was confronted with photos about the payments. So apparently he must have been a person of a certain age where he's able to retire, so he's just there. And the day after they came to him, the inspectors came to him about the videos and photos of the payments of him taking money from people, he filed retirement. So I don't know how that'll turn out. I don't know if they can block it anyway or whatever they can do. I don't know. But this is what's going on. So the system now is cheating the system. So not only is MTA robbing us blind, people that have to use it, in amounts of money, and the fact that the trains are not safe, trains or buses are not safe. However, they rob us and their employees rob them. How crazy is that? Listen, people, it's just ridiculous. And MTA, as far as I know, for the years, and I'm going to say allegedly, but I lived in New York until my what, 30s. So I know they would get away with anything. For any reason, they would raise the fare. Sure, you got to wear a bulletproof vest and carry your own type, whatever weapon of choice that you may choose to take. But yet they're still raising fares, and we have congestion pricing. All right, so I remember a couple of months ago. Let me see, January, February, maybe March. I'm thinking March. Okay, March. I did a story on the two twin brothers that graduated from high school, and they had tickets to fly out of Atlanta's airport, wherever they're in Atlanta, they're in Georgia. So I don't know what airport they were flying out of, but apparently they graduated from high school, these two twins, and they had booked them some tickets to go either on a trip of where I don't quite remember where, but they were. But they never arrived at the airport. They never caught their flight. And they were found a few days later, unalived, which looked like a unalive and a self-unalive. And no one understood. The parents didn't understand. The family didn't understand. Friends, no one understood. These two twin brothers, Quadair and Nazir Lewis, they were best friends. They were twins. They were excited about getting on with their life. So why would they do this? And their bodies were found at the top of a Georgia mountain. So it's just weird. And the family says they don't hike. Why would they be at these mountains somewhere in Georgia, hiking supposedly, or doing anything? Why? They're not known to even know where this place was, to be honest with you, right? Okay, so autopsy was done, because of course the family does not believe that they offed them each other, and it just didn't make any sense at all. Well, they did an autopsy. Autopsy results for twins found unalive at top of GA Georgia mountain, pending for more tests. So they weren't satisfied with the autopsies that were done. So now they're pushing for more tests. But allegedly, what has come, um, okay, let me say this to you. We've talked about sundown towns, right? We've talked about how they still exist in different states and everything. And you have to be careful because if you happen to be like this and like this, you should not be in these towns when the sun goes down. Hint, sundown town. So we've heard of these places. We don't know how many exist. They're not like exhibited and advertised the sundown towns because, of course, that's crazy. That's illegal. But they exist. And if you happen to be, like I said, a certain color, a certain complexion, you don't want to be caught in these places when the sun goes down, right? Okay. Well, comes to find out, right outside of where this where they found the twins' bodies on this Georgia mountain is a place where people go hiking and stuff like that, right? It's a very wooded, it's in as a mountaintop. Well, there's a town supposedly, allegedly by this mountaintop, which supposedly, allegedly, is a sundown town. So people are starting to wonder what does that have to do with it because it just every nothing else actually makes sense, right? Okay, so it says Gwinnett County, Georgia. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation says it needs additional forensic testing as agents investigating the deaths, the unalives of the twin brothers. On March 8th, hikers found Quidar and Nizar Lewis from Gwinnett County unalived from gunshot wounds at the top of Bell Mountain. Okay, so I'm like, oh, give me 1 second, please. Um, and uh, let me see. What else can I get from this? Because I'm like really hate when my phone rings during recording. But nevertheless, and investigators initially ruled their deaths as a murder suicide. And then they sent their bodies to the GBI labs for autopsies. Well, on Sunday, the GBI confirmed that the results are now pending until more forensic tests are completed. The medical examiner has not issued an official cause of death. So this happened on March 8th. We're in May, the middle of May, and they're still running tests. I don't know how many tests you need to run either because there wouldn't have to be a beating. If these two brothers decided that they wanted to end it all together, right? There was no reason for it. I'm not saying that they would beat because I don't know, but I'm just saying the type of test. What test are you running? How did the bodies look? Did they look beat? Did they look like what? Tell us more. You're talking about tests. What tests? Make it make sense, people. Make it make sense. So I'm going to stay on top of this. I want to know what other tests. I want to know what comes about. I really do because this is ridiculous, right? Okay, so you guys remember Brittany Griner, the WNBA player that was arrested in Russia in 2022, and she spent 9 months in their prison because of hash oil. Well, and besides that, and the only reason we got her home is because the government traded for a Russian arms dealer. So we gave them back their Russian arms dealer and they gave us Brittany, right? Okay, whatever. Well, it's happening again, guys. And before I start the story, listen, guys, I don't care if you're basketball players, football players, baseball players, whatever type of players. When you're going to these countries to play on their teams, you think that you're going to get some special treatment, and clearly you don't. Look at Brittany. They put her in jail for 9 months for hash oil. Okay? And that wasn't even with them saying that she was trying to distribute it or give it to hash oil, right? Well, we have a former college basketball player, right? His name is Jared Shaw, and he's been arrested in Indonesia for allegedly attempting to smuggle cannabis-infused candies into the country. Indonesia has very strict drug laws, and convicted smugglers can face death penalty or life in prison. So let me bring you up a picture so that you can put eyes on who we're talking about, okay? Let's see. Okay, so this is Jared Shaw. This is the young man, American basketball player arrested in Indonesia for alleged drug smuggling, could face death penalty. Okay, death penalty. Okay. Now it says an American basketball player for the Indonesian league. Now he's there playing for their league, helping them. Was arrested for allegedly attempting to smuggle illegal drugs to the country. The Southeast Asian country has extremely strict drug laws, and convicted smugglers are sometimes executed by firing squad. Okay. Now, like I said, before I get too into it, people, sometimes we have to blame ourselves. We just went through this with Brittany, the WNBA player, right? We just went through this. So we know that these countries are not playing. And it does not matter how big of a star you are here or how important you are here or how important you think you are to their team. Because remember, these Brittany and now Jared, they are playing for their team. They're United States citizens going over to play in their leagues. Okay? They don't care about you. You're there for entertainment. Relax. Know your audience. And I don't understand. Okay, but what I will say before going too deep into Jared Shaw, he should have known better. But again, Jared Shaw, who's 34 from Dallas, Texas, was arrested on May 7th after police raided his apartment, right? Just outside of the capital of Jakarta, and seized 132 pieces of cannabis candy. So he didn't try to take over hash oil. He didn't try to take over marijuana. He took over cannabis candies, which is still pretty much this. I mean, it's the same thing, really. But you would think that because of the form, maybe you thought like, oh, I got some gummy bears in my bag that is going to be okay. Mm-mm. They're expecting you. They're almost targeting you. They expect because they know that the drug laws and rules are so lenient compared to their laws. Hell, they're shooting you by firing squad and giving you life in prison. So, well, it says the arrest followed a tip from an airport customs that reported Shaw had received a suspicious airway package from Thailand. Cannabis has been decriminalized in Thailand since November 2024. So since it's been decriminalized in Thailand, they're watching everything from Thailand, right? So under Indonesia's anti-drug laws, Shaw faces up to a life sentence or death penalty if found guilty. Listen, again, the only way we got Brittany back after 9 months was we had to trade a Russian arms dealer, okay, to get her back. What's going to happen with Jared Shaw? He's not even as big of a personality as Brittany Griner, right? She's not even a big personality. At least she was a big deal in the WNBA. People knew who she was, but this one doesn't. I don't understand, guys. But again, it was 132 pieces of cannabis candies. Now, what I will say, and it doesn't make any sense because it happened there, but you know, here there is about it used to be about the amount, right? So if it's personal use or for distribution, selling it to someone else, right? And I'm figuring this man is 34 years old. He's from Dallas, Texas. He's in Indonesia for however long their leagues play. So I'm sure maybe a couple of months or something. So I'm sure these 132 pieces that were sent to him was for personal use. And again, I saw a video. They have a video of them dragging him off. Like, I guess after they raided his apartment, after they got the tip, they raided his apartment and they found the candies. And like I said, it's a video circulating on social media, purportedly showing Shaw wearing a black t-shirt and shorts, resisting as he's being pushed away by police and shouting, "Help, help," when he was about to be arrested. So I don't know how this is going to be dealt with. I'm sure this is, I know for a fact this is not the last we're going to hear of it. But again, we have to take some responsibility for being stupid, because we've already had an example of this with Britney. We already had the full example of this with Britney Griner. So it wasn't like, oh, this is the first time it's happened. We don't have any conscience of, you knew exactly. She was held for 9 months and you're not her. Okay. At least she had a reputable name and people knew who she was. I don't know who you are, Jared Dwayne Shaw, and you're 34 years old. So was this worth 132 pieces of cannabis candies? Wow. That's a lot. That's a lot. You know, people take for granted here in the United States, marijuana is legalized in a lot of states. So the freedom of you being able to just walk down the street and smoke a joint or a blunt or be on edibles, whatever it is, you're just not supposed to be in control of a motor vehicle or anything like that. But it's legal out in the street. And you get so comfortable that you forget that when you go over to another country, you're going by a whole new game plan, new rules, new regulations. Nothing that you're used to in the United States means anything in Indonesia or Russia, as we see. Okay? So, I mean, we have to start to take some responsibility for the stupidity. I'm being honest with you. Okay? Well, we spoke about Tory Lanez, right? On yesterday. And they were talking about how, you know, he was assaulted in prison and how, you know, he was stabbed 14 times and both of his lungs, you know, he's now, from what I understand, breathing on his own, right? Which is a blessing. And he's now in a California prison serving a 10-year sentence for the Megan Thee Stallion situation, which we are aware of, right? Okay, so we talked about him being stabbed 14 times, and of course, we don't know the story. We don't know why, who, or how. Well, guess what? We, at least at this point, we know who. Well, this is who it is. Okay, this is the suspect, the convicted murderer, the suspect allegedly that stabbed Tory Lanez 14 times. 14 times. Well, we now know that he's a convicted felon, right? The man accused of stabbing Tory Lanez has been identified as Santino Castillo, who is serving a life sentence for murder. Lanez was stabbed 14 times on Monday, May 12th. His team confirmed in a statement shared on Instagram. The Canadian rapper was rushed to a hospital after being stabbed 14 times while serving a 10-year prison sentence in a California prison. So now we at least have a picture, or we know who. Now we just kind of got to find out why. We know who, but we got to find out why. And the fact that he has a life, well, and what does he have to lose? He's in for life now, and he's already a convicted murderer. So I don't know what this could have been. I don't know if it was about protection, if it was about you stepped on my sneaker. I don't know. I don't know. Like they say, like they got the same hairline or something, or maybe the same barber that was in there is cutting both of their hair. See, because Tory always tried it with the hair. Child East. Moving right along. That's what that. At least we know who. Okay. Again, at least we know who. And again, his name is Santino Castillo. He's serving life in prison. He's 41 years old. So I guess we'll hear more and more about this story as time goes on, or maybe not. Who knows? Well. When the roosters come home to roost, right? Okay, so y'all remember when President Trump was running for re-election and things of the sort, right? And that Kid Rock, y'all remember Kid Rock? He was so for Trump, playing at his gigs, doing certain things. Well, guess what? Kid Rock has a restaurant, right? Kid Rock has a restaurant in Nashville. And it says Kid Rock Nashville restaurant sends staff home on busy Saturday night to avoid ICE raid. Okay, so Kid Rock, who's pals and chums and friends with Mr. Trump, President Trump. And I get, you might be behind him for some things and not behind him for certain things. But again, because of the Trump deportations, now Kid Rock has to shut down his restaurant because apparently someone got a hold of some information that his restaurant was going to be raided by ISIS. So he closed his restaurant on a busy Saturday, the busiest day, I'm sure, of it. And so he can try to protect his workers, which allegedly makes me believe he knew that his workers are undocumented. Right? So moving right along. Well, guess what? Those workers never came back. They never came back. So there's no workers for his restaurant. So he now has to close his restaurant. Now, how long, and if it's permanent, I don't know. But because it looks like allegedly the majority of his workers were illegal and undocumented, I can't say I'm sorry about it. I can't, because he was yippee-yay and cheering and happy about Trump. Now look how it's affecting your pockets. Now let's see how you feel about it affecting your pockets. Okay, your pockets. Okay, so I'm gonna go through one more story with you guys, and I'm gonna let you go. Okay, so this one is interesting, people. Okay, this one is very, very interesting. Okay, now we know about Popeyes. We know they chicken. I mean, yeah. And they had the chicken sandwich that everybody was up and losing their mind about. And now every other food restaurant has a so-called chicken sandwich behind Popeyes. Popeyes caked with that. They really did do that. And the chicken sandwich was good. I haven't had one in such a long time, but it was good. Okay, so this story is about Popeyes. So let's get into it. And I want you to know who I'm talking about. So here we go. Manager at Popeyes restaurant shot employee over burnt biscuits. I'm going to state this one more time. Manager at Popeyes restaurant shot employee over burnt biscuits. Okay, so let's get into the story. So, sorry. No. We're not doing that. You're going to let me be great. This is my last story. Okay. So it says a manager at a Popeyes restaurant in North Carolina is facing an attempted murder charge after shooting his coworker over burnt biscuits. Rodney Woods, 22, was arrested and charged with attempted first-degree murder in the May 11th incident. The shooting unfolded around 6 p.m. at a Popeyes restaurant in Charlotte, North Carolina. Okay. Now, it says another employee, and he's the manager. Come to find out, they are both managers. So these are managers now fighting over burnt biscuits. Woods and the other employee, which is the manager, were arguing over overcooked biscuits, right? A customer who witnessed the shooting told police. The witness said both Woods and the other employee went outside after one challenged the other, and the two began fighting. While the two were sparring, Woods allegedly pulled out a gun and fired 2 rounds. There's video, of course, they have cameras everywhere. There's video taken at the scene shows Woods discharging his firearm twice at point blank range. Both shots struck Woods' co-worker, one in the groin and the other in the chest. The injured employee was rushed to the hospital with life-threatening injuries before undergoing surgery. The police arrived at the restaurant. Woods was gone. While witnesses told authorities he had ran away, police quickly caught him in the same shopping center. Woods claimed the co-worker he shot was also a manager, he said, and also told police that the two that when the two stepped outside of the restaurant, he was punched in the face 3 times. He then allegedly fired 2 warning shots, which were not meant to kill or harm, but it did. Well, first off, they said he ran away. He ran from one store to another, so I'm sure it's like a little, a little store, a little section, and he ran from. So he ran. They caught him in the same complex, the same shopping complex, in another store. So I mean, I don't know what that was about, and I don't know what was really that. Come on, girls, really? Burnt biscuits. So now we're shooting our coworkers over burnt biscuits. Now, don't get me wrong, Popeyes biscuits have known to be really, really good, but they ain't to die for at all. Again, conflict resolution. I've said it before, and then I said it in the last video that, when we heard about the 61-year-old woman and a 57-year-old boyfriend and girlfriend, 61-year-old woman, 57-year-old man, and he threw her off of the balcony because she threw his clothes off the balcony. What is wrong with you people? What's going on? You shoot me because the biscuits burned? We both managers. They're biscuits. It's bread. Okay. Listen, guys. I don't make up these stories. I report them to you. I will be reporting to you guys on the Puffy situation. I just wanted to let you guys know before I let you go that this particular case with Puffy and Cassie and all the stuff that's going on is very triggering. And some of us have gone through certain things in our lives where this is unreal. I remember the time we wouldn't have heard all these type of details, and the details we're hearing, sad to say, we haven't heard before. That's why I'm not jumping on the bandwagon of reporting everything that's said every day in the courtroom, because it's the first week and Cassie has been on the stand for the past 3 days or so, right? And all that she said, of course, is very shocking and triggering and lowbrow. However, it's not something we haven't heard. We've been talking about this case since he paid her the $20 million that she admitted that she did make $20 million. And you know what? A question. Shouldn't he have just pretty much kept his $20 million? Because I understand he paid her $20 million not to talk, right? She threatened to do the lawsuit. She did the lawsuit. He paid her $20 million within 24 hours, right? And I know that no NDA supersedes the courts. If they bring you in and it supersedes a criminal act. A NDA doesn't supersede. I'm sorry. A NDA does not supersede a criminal act. And when the courts want to bring you in for testifying, they don't care if you signed an NDA or not. An NDA does not trump criminal acts. That's first off. So don't you think he should have kept his money? Because the thing is, she's still testifying. She's still telling everything that she said she was going to tell. He's still in jail. He never got bail. Okay. Look at me rapping. So it's like, shouldn't he have kind of kept his money? Because what was the sense? She got free money because she's telling everything already. This is what the reason he paid her $20 million was, for her not to talk and not to tell. Listen, it's just me. I'm just asking. That was like $20 million down the drain. But again, I will start bringing you what I know when we hear something new. The stuff I'm hearing about Puffy and what's going on a day-to-day in court is nothing I haven't heard before. Now we're starting to hear from the ex-workers, is what I'll say, the ex-workers. So there'll be things that we haven't maybe gotten details on. And those are the things I report to you. You can turn to any channels. Everyone is running their mouth and talking about what's going on. I'm trying to, again, bring you things you haven't heard about, things to kind of maybe take you away from those things and to show you that our lives aren't as bad as we think they are when you hear about some of these stories and some of the things that's going on. Listen, guys, I love you. I want you guys to be intentional. I want you guys to be in the know. And listen, have you a great weekend. Be safe out there. And until next time, I'll speak to you soon. Love you.